I think I have some double music playing in the background. What is going
That's
on,
what I
everybody?
thought.
Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. This is the final Saturday before the championship game. This is it. This is the countdown to what hopefully is a continuation of our season. And there's been a lot of people talking all week, a lot of content creators, radio, you name it. So we figured we'd just finish off with the best stream of the week, and that's with me and Bash talking what else, Niners, the Lions. So before we start, I just want to say thank you to anybody who's going to be in the stream, whether now or later through a rewatch. Appreciate it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. You can go to Bash's channel, 49er Minded. He has his own YouTube channel too. It's in my bio, and you can click subscribe on his channel as well. So Bash, I'm trying to say it's about 25 hours away from kickoff tomorrow. About 25 hours.
Yeah, 3:30 kickoff time on the West Coast, 2:36 over here. So yeah, exactly. There you go. A great way of putting it.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it until I looked down at the time
Yeah,
at the bottom of
I didn't think about
the
it
laptop. It's this is it, man. Like this is for all the marbles to go to the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah.
I'm confident, but I'm also scared at the same time.
Yeah.
Last week's game, not stream. Last week's game was nothing short of aggravating and scary, and felt like the season was going to end. And I was thinking to myself, the content's going to be all about being a team that collapsed and couldn't get it done and who choked, and they would have been right in every single aspect of that. But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
We're still playing.
There's a segment of the Niner fan base that just loves to bash and shit on Kyle and say he chokes everything that comes across his way. They literally some of them literally go as far as to blame him for choking the Eagles game last year. I'm like, how did he choke that game? He choked it. Okay, bro. I mean, we can be objective as much as we want. But yeah, I mean, if you're just saying it just because you don't like somebody, it's going a bit too far. But or to say that, oh, Kyle's gonna choke this one away, like, dude, the game didn't even fucking start yet. It's like, hold your horses, bro. We actually have a quarterback this time,
right?
Did we have a quarterback in that Eagles game?
No.
Or let me go back to the year before. Did we have a quarterback in the Rams NFC Championship game? That's even a better question. Like, we finally have a real West Coast offense quarterback running this offense and this team, with Deebo back, with Jauan Jennings back. So I'm pumped.
And I think there'll be a better showing by the 49ers early on. Real quick, I want to say hi to the couple people that are in the chat that have said something. We have Omar S. He says, "What's up, Aaron and Bash? Let's go Niner faithful." Omar dropped a $2 super. Appreciate it, my friend. Always appreciate it. $1.99. $2. Thank you very much. Rob D is in the house. He says, "Bang bang." Sorry to hear about your recent news about your wife. I have nothing but love and prayers going out to you, man. It's been a rough last couple of weeks with a lot of that kind of stuff happening. So
last year,
try to keep your mind off of it for 3 hours. I know football doesn't really, I mean, in the scheme of things, doesn't really do it, but at least for that little bit of time, keep your mind busy. Yeah, so let's get to it, man. Let's talk. The number one piece of news that came out of yesterday that made all 49er fans rejoice, because it was like the $64,000 question for all of you who were born in the 70s, or the big elephant in the room, is Deebo Samuel cleared to play. There was worry that he might have refractured his shoulder last week. Didn't happen. There was worry that he might not be able to play. It looked like it early on in the week. It wasn't. Nobody knew. He got cleared, or he got a clean bill of health as far as not having a re-injury or a fracture. So it really comes down to pain and how much he can tolerate. But it looks like he's a full go. And Bash, that changes everything game plan wise.
Well, what did he say? I have no limitations, or I'm not gonna forgot how he said it. Like,
they asked him if he was gonna play. Yeah, I forgot. I tweeted about it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I told you this already, and
he said something like about protecting yourself. He says, "I'm I ain't gonna protect nothing.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah. So I mean, I was telling Raj yesterday and telling a whole bunch of my friends that it wasn't necessarily yesterday. It was the day before when Deebo Samuel was jumping around, dancing in practice and catching passes over his head and being lollygagging around the practice field. The day before, that was pretty much telling me, okay, he looks a little too happy for somebody that might not play. So yeah. So basically, when they took him off the injury list, like, okay, cool, awesome, nice. That's the direction I thought we were headed. Let's go. There's very few people on the injured list in this upcoming game, which is excellent. Health is wealth, as they say, right? So
yep. Yeah, Rob said it. Not protecting nothing. I don't know about you, but there's been some terse responses from the media this week, at least from Deebo. And dude, I was watching an interview with Brandon Ayuk. He just doesn't want to talk. The poor guy. He's not a social butterfly to begin with. These guys want to play. They want to rewrite history from last year. Whether that gets them a victory or not, we'll see. But man, if I'm them, I'm just like, can the game start already?
Oh yeah, I mean,
but having
people only want to talk for so long, they just want to play.
Yeah, my dad always told me that talk was cheap. He used to tell me to stop bragging about something and go and accomplish it, and then you can brag after. You know what I mean? And I think these guys know the importance of just how many opportunities you can get before you run out of opportunities, and then you start to see the team be restructured and change in a couple of years. I mean, to me, I think one of the reasons the Niners played so tight last week, and I made this, I talked about this before the game, and a lot of people were like, wow, you're not really that excited. I just thought the Niners and the Lions are two totally different on the other end of the spectrum teams. You got a team who's not expected to win, is happy to be there, literally, and has a history of losing and not being good. And then you have this 49er franchise who hasn't won a Super Bowl since the 90s, but has been knocking on the door for a decade or so, and they just haven't been able to kick that door through. And so there's a lot of pressure, not only on Kyle and John and the players, but the fan base, I think, because it's like, how long can we keep defending this? So, yeah, Deebo Samuel being back to me opens up the offense completely. This offense is not the same with Deebo Samuel out of the lineup. You wonder if the game plan, if there's going to be anything about it that we're going to carry over from last week that Kyle planned on doing, or if it's going to be a completely different thing. But having Deebo Samuel back, awesome mug. I have mine too, but I always
you always forget coffee. It, man. There you go.
I drink coffee during the stream, so yeah.
I do have a coffee mug too. It's over to the side. If you want to see, I can bring it. But
Rinjin said it best. Actions speak louder than words. Yeah, it's time for.
I was going to say. So we got Ted up in here. Ted Talks Ball. Is there in Bash? What's up, Ted?
We have the GOAT, Ted himself.
Yes, sir.
My man, and he needs to make like an animated version of him with a visor on.
I want to. This guy is like the king of battling people on Twitter, man. You see, there's like a crown for that.
He knows when. I was running my yapper too, and Ted's like, "Who? I'll DM you the answer." Let's talk. Let's see. Here's a good one. It says the loss of Jauan Jennings for 3 weeks really hurt the offense, bro. Right? It's one of my topics. I have it kind of far down the line, but we could talk about it now, man. I was just like you as far as being on the hype train for not Danny Gray, Ronnie Bell early in the season. We were both like, oh man, he had a great preseason. Man, the Niners might have found, another playmaker. He might make Jauan Jennings expendable in the offseason. I don't know about that, bro.
Hell no. Hell no.
I never thought I would say this, but the Niners need to do everything in their power to re-sign Jauan Jennings.
Or draft some fucking good receivers. There's a lot of good receivers coming out. There's good receiver talent. I just don't we could have drafted a Puka, for example. If we drafted Puka, by Jauan, we love you, but hey, bro, we got this guy over here waiting in the wings. You know what I mean? Like, we could have easily gotten Puka in round 5. There's a lot of good receivers coming out. I don't know if we're going to be lucky enough to get one of those gems or not. They don't have to be a superstar, but just somebody who could contribute. But Yeah, bro. Jauan Jennings is nice, man. He's just a good player. We might be able to keep him around. You never know.
To me, Jauan Jennings is an unsung hero type player that you don't really talk about. He's essentially David Tyree from the Giants all those years back, right?
You know what? It was either Ted that brought it up or Raj. Shout out to both of them. One of the two brought it up. They were saying that like is Jauan Jennings the best number 15 wide receiver we've seen wearing number 15?
Yeah.
Like remember Crabtree wore number 15, right? Crabtree never showed up when it was clutch time, dude. When when the situation called for it.
All you gotta talk about is the famous, Richard Sherman going off on him and calling him a bum receiver, and a lot of 49er fans, including myself, were hot when that happened. Like, man, screw freaking Richard Sherman. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, Richard Sherman was right, man. That dude was cheeks, man. He
well, Steve, I didn't say that. I didn't think that Puka was going to be a superstar coming up. I did definitely have him on my pre-draft, mock draft shows, and I thought he'd be a good wide receiver that we could pick up in those rounds. So either way, the scouting department should know better than me. I mean, who am I? I'm not a scout, not paid to scout and go see all the college players, but whatever it is, we dropped the ball because he went to the Rams. He's in our division now.
Right. I love Rob D's profile.
Well, that's the old 49er logo.
Yeah.
It's a funny logo. It looks like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
That'd be a sweet tattoo to have because people be like, what is that? I'd be like, it's a 49er. It's a 49er emblem. They're like, no, it's not. Open up the
Speaking of tattoos.
Google. Right.
Did you see that stupid Lions fan that got the tattoo? The Super Bowl tattoo? Super Bowl champions or whatever?
There was a Bills fan who got a tattoo. I don't know exactly what it was. You guys all saw the scene from the Buffalo crowd after they lost, like people sitting there crying, and I feel bad for them, but I kind of don't because they're pretty insufferable being a Rochester, New York guy and being only an hour and 20 minutes away from Buffalo. They can be pretty first of all, here's the thing about the Bills, and I know this is a Niners show, but there was so many bandwagon types that were popping up all over my Facebook who I know who all of a sudden were Bills fans. Soon as that game ended, crickets, you know what I mean? So us 49er fans, we keep talking. I talk all off season. I rep all off season. And the day after, the week after the Super Bowl, or a couple weeks after the Super Bowl, I had to get shoulder surgery. And I showed up straight up, full garbed, head to toe, Niner kicks, Niner hat, Niner everything, even though we lost the Super Bowl. So, but I just thought it was funny with Bills fans.
I forgot what I was watching. Oh, I was watching, actually it was Larry Krueger and David Bruce, and they were talking about how people don't cut Brock Purdy any slack, but Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they'd be like, oh, it's okay for him to throw interceptions because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, or it's okay for him to lose playoff games because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like they make it I love Josh Allen as a player, as a talent, excellent player, but it's just funny just because he fits the mold and he's 6'5", broad shoulders, 240 pounds, that can run like a deer and can throw it. He's got a cannon of an arm. They just give him the benefit of the doubt every which way, and it's, I'm sure a lot of Buffalo Bills fans are sick of it though, over out where you live, man. They just brought up the Bills.
They're not really mad at Josh. They're mad at a lot. Oh,
really? Okay.
Yeah, they're mad at a lot of other stuff. A lot of them want Diggs out of here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're tired of Diggs complaining, and there's always a story behind it, like, oh no, he's fine, he wants to be here, and then it's like, well, where did that news come from? The coach. There's a lot of talk about the coach being, what's holding them back. A lot of Bills fans think if they go forward with the same thing next year, essentially it's kind of like the Cowboys. You're staying pat. So it doesn't give the fans a lot of confidence going forward that things are going to change.
And one thing I want to bring up, because you back to the Niners, because you said that we've been knocking out the door to try to get to the Super Bowl or try to win a Super Bowl more so than any other team in this 10-year stretch. It's crazy because if you think about it, I can't think of the closest thing I could think of is the Buffalo Bills, where that's pretty hard to replicate. I mean, they had a four-peat of losing Super Bowls, which is insane. It makes me think of Insane in the Memory by Cypress Hill, but yeah, bro, it's nuts. I mean, we've been okay, cool. I got your message. And we've been knocking at the door for so damn long. It seems like back to the Harbaugh era. Now we're in the Shanny era. It's crazy, man. And ironically, we brought in Javon Hargrave, the guy who does the kick the door down or whatever when he gets a sack, right? So maybe we can finally kick that door down that we've been trying to knock out all these years to not only get to the Super Bowl but to win it all. So let's see.
Yeah, it's being a 49er fan is
Here we go.
It's oh no, I'm gonna get fired up soon when we talk about Purdy next because I got something to say for all you dumbasses about who hate on Purdy. People from our own fan base talking stupid garbage about Brock. You know what? Let's get into it. So,
sounded like a Brock.
Richard Sherman said it the best. He said, Brock Purdy is the only underdog story where the underdog is hated. Like, there's no reason in the media that this man should be vilified and doubted and people taking shots at him and this, that, and the other. Yet that's the narrative, bro. There's probably like 5 or 6 people that are standing up for him. You got Sherman, you have McAfee, Greg Olson, and a couple other people. But the majority of people out there, they can't help themselves. For instance, I'm watching a stream last night with supposed Niner fans, right? Content creators. And they said, dude, I told you off stream yesterday that if Brock Purdy plays bad in the championship game, that the 49ers should move on from him. But they could still keep him in a backup-like scenario, like, say, Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
Not even lying to you. That's what they said. And I'm like, really? Give me your take on that, because I'm still mad about it.
I've seen Nick Mullins play in person. It was literally the week after we beat remember that Nick Mullins Raiders game that everybody was all excited about? And I was at the game. I was like, okay, we're playing the New York Giants, the Little Giants. It was on a Sunday night or a Thursday night. It was definitely a night game. Of course, I love night games at Levi's. I think they're so underrated. And a lot of people hate the stadium, but I love the night games at Levi's. Anyways, I was there. I was watching Nick Mullins play, and I was like, look, I know he just came off this big Raider game where he was running on all four cylinders or whatever. Let me see what this guy's made of. And I noticed that he kept doing this bunny hop in the pocket where he would bounce straight up and down in the pocket like he was nervous the whole time. And I was like, you know what? He may have had a nice Raider game, but it's a little early. But this guy's not it. He's just a backup quarterback that had himself a hell of a game. Was pretty much what I said. But it's funny because he did put up yards that year, and people go back, well, Nick Mullins put up all these yards as a 49er backup and blah 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 blah. Like, okay, was he winning games though? I mean, how efficient was he? I mean, it's like yards can only do so much. I mean, it's you sit and watch film of Brock Purdy back to back with Nick Mullins. It's not even close. And to think that just because Brock Purdy may potentially lose an NFC Championship game, that we have to go as far as to replace him and then have him in a backup role, or it's just silly. And I don't know where the rumor came about. Did you catch the rumor, the Tom Brady rumor, the recent one? I don't know how that leaked or who said what and how legit that is, but supposedly going into the season, maybe somebody in the chat might know. I might have to look it up. Somebody said that, Purdy was told that he might not be the starter this year because they're going to try bring Tom Brady out of retirement. Supposedly Shanahan said that to Purdy this year. And the only way I can wrap my head around that is that here we go. In a recent ESPN interview, Purdy revealed that in 2023 offseason, Shanahan told him that the team was looking to bring Brady out of retirement and that Purdy would have to be his backup. He said that meant so much to me. If I remember him saying, if we can get Tom Brady, we're going to try to get him. Interesting. I got to catch up on the rest of that interview. That's weird. But I do get this part. I mean, maybe because it's probably they were doubting Purdy's health. They didn't know what his elbow was going to look like. I said it multiple times. I didn't know what he was going to be coming back from that elbow. And people were mad at me and saying I'm a Purdy hater, and I'm a Trey Lance lover.
You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one.
I said we don't know who he is coming back off that injury. That was my main complaint. But he passed with flying colors week 1. All it took me was week 1 against the Steelers, and I was like, look, he not only looks just as good as he did last year, but I could tell that he has nuances within his game that could make him better this year. And, I was pleasantly surprised.
Steve-O, I totally agree with you on that one. He's not a.
Well, who said he broke news?
No, somebody said there was Grant that broke the news, and he said,
about the
clown
it was
breaks
an
no
it was
news
an
ever.
ESPN interview with Purdy. I got to catch up on the rest of it. That's weird though. Huh? That's crazy.
I don't even want to get started on that, but
I know.
thank you for taking my mind there, Steve-O.
I got a channel I need to share with you in a minute.
Let me look at this. I never thought of this, Sentinel. I never thought of this. He says Purdy and his faith is definitely something, but a lot of other players in the NFL are very devout. Is there at least some, and up front of to their okay. I think he's trying to say that because Purdy is so upfront about his religious beliefs, he's a Christian, he believes in Jesus, that he's being targeted. I didn't ever think of that, but I mean, you got to remember, there's two sides to every political coin. There's people out there that are, I'm not going to talk politics, but you can understand why that might be divisive for somebody. But to me, that's just ridiculous. I
don't think he goes too far with it though. For the most part, every once in a while,
he's just fine with himself. Like regardless of what happens, he's still okay because he has faith. And that's how everybody should be if they are a person who's a believer. Like your job is your job. You do the best you can, and at the end of the day, but you're still, whatever your religion is, you're still devout. You're still loyal to it, regardless of what your job is. It could be a construction worker, a person who pushes grocery carts at the the grocery store, or a professional quarterback. So I give him props for being open about it.
Well, we are the faithful, right? I mean.
Right. Hey, no, like for instance, we were talking about this Brock Purdy thing, and Ted, our guy Ted from Ted Talks Ball, Ted said to me before the season is he has a lot of doubt because of the injury, that Brock could be the same as he was before, and that that's where a lot of the disdain and anger came from when we moved on from Trey Lance. Trey Lance should have gotten his shot again or whatever. And, he's not going to get it now. And like the Niners are banking on this guy being healthy. Turns out the Niners were right. But it's still, it was a huge gamble that they went into the season the way that they did. But go Niners. Yeah, what do you think about that? The fact that they went into the season. With no real backup plan. Literally, it was like Brock Purdy or bust.
Well, I guess their backup plan was possibly Lance or Darnold, because they're both the top 3 picks overall, right? They both have elite skill sets. They both have high ceilings, as they say. So, I guess they're kind of okay with going that route, maybe. But I think we're very fortunate to have Purdy, and he's just he's an anomaly. Let's just say that, and hopefully, he takes us to the top. Man, we'll see what happens. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I do have my faith and trust in the guy.
I told you that on the phone. I said, maybe not this coming season. Maybe, if in a couple of years, the Niners, someone comes on the market and Brock hasn't led us to a championship. Someone happens to come on the market that is available that they think could take them over the top. As a fan, I wouldn't be upset because I would have thought Brock he would have had his fair shot, which, is what a lot of people were mad about when it came to the Lance thing. I think with the Lance thing, we all found out is Lance was a lot farther behind going into this year than we once thought, as far as his athletic ability was undeniable. His arm was undeniable. But his ability to process information still looked just unbelievably slow. Now, some of people went to training camp and they said that he looked pretty good at training camp, and I will take their word by it because I wasn't there. I'll never discredit anybody's information if they sat there and watched it. But the Niners saw something different. I still agree with a lot of people that they should have kept Lance and not Darnold, but I understand why they got rid of Darnold because it would have been, or Lance, because it was a distraction, and it would have stayed a distraction. And you would have had a fan base every time Brock, threw up on himself saying, oh, he's got to be moved, or he's got to sit down so Lance can get in there. And so in a way they had to do it for their own mental health as an organization. So
Yeah, unfortunately, we should have held on to Lance a little bit longer because
I know.
he would have been a great bargaining chip.
Oh, a massive.
Aaron Rodgers goes down week 1. I mean, that phone would have been ringing. I mean, there were a few opportunities for us to make trades, and they rushed it. You know, I guess because Lance's agent rushed it, and Lance rushed it, and we got that shitty trade with the Cowboys. But it is what it is.
Sentinel made a good point. He says he really needed a couple extra years in college. Yeah, dude, he was raw. He didn't have enough snaps. Dude. He jumped 2 levels. He jumped Division II college to the NFL. It's a big jump. I mean, you can say what you want about Brock Purdy and his size and then lack of athletic ability and all that jazz, but he played 4 years of college and he's got that experience. Whether that
jumping the levels is one thing, but not having the reps is even worse.
Yeah, the reps part, it just gives you the ability to be in live game situations and what you do in those live game situations. I saw another ignorant ass thing that was said by that same stream. They said they wanted to see. No, it wasn't the stream. It was a commenter in it. He said, "Oh, I want to see Brock start audibling," and I'm like,
"Do these people watch the games?
Do people watch? What do you mean? Do you want to see Brock start audibling? Like Brock does stuff at the line of scrimmage. I'm telling you, man. You can tell who watches games closely and who are people that are so fair.
Okay.
Whether
this is football 101. I don't know how other teams do it, but I know every time the Niners do this, even back when we had Jimmy G, this means that that quarterback is doing an audible at the line of scrimmage. When he's going like this and saying, can, that means they're changing the play. Well, this whatever game you watch, you'll notice it.
Thank you, Steve-O, for the $2 super. He says, worried about Greasy leaving? Well, Brock digress. Steve-O, I actually am concerned about that, to be honest with you. And that maybe he would die. He would regress. It's not only him. It's Clay Kubiak, or excuse me, I think Clint Kubiak, and also Fleury, the tight ends coach, is getting an interview to be the offensive coordinator with the New England Patriots. I think the Niners are getting decimated, man. They have to win this year,
bro. I thought all this shit was over with. I thought right. I forgot to mention on streams, like maybe we were a little rusty because coaches were getting interviews and stuff like this, and it was just a distraction, right? Like nobody, kind of took away from the focus of trying to win these playoff games. You had this guy getting interviewed here, this guy getting interviewed there. Like we need everybody focused on this damn goal of winning tomorrow, and then God willing, we win tomorrow, and then go into the next game. So. Getting guys having their phones ring, like they should make a rule about this. They really, really do. Mariah's right. A shout out to Mariah for Fortnite Faithfully podcast because she was the first one to go on the rant about it. How they should make a rule like the teams that are in contention for the playoffs, like their guys aren't allowed to talk to anybody until their team's out, basically.
Yep, I agree. So the 49ers right now, in a lot of people's eyes, are the enemy. And the Lions are America's team. Everybody saw the graphic. Everybody saw it. I posted a TikTok and a short on YouTube. And I had the music, or I had the overlay, not the overlay, but the background from The Dark Knight, where Harvey Dent says you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And it has the map where it's literally the whole United States blue. And then you have California that's red. And it's interesting that the Niners are the enemy. A lot of people like myself understand that bit because of them being so bad for so long and never being a playoff team. But I don't know, man. Like, how could you hate on the Niners, man? They do everything right.
We sure do, man. But I guess it's because we have 5 Super Bowls already. And people are like, please, no, don't get any more Super Bowls. You're going to crush our dream. We're tired of you guys winning Super Bowls, but it's been so damn long, man. It kind of reminds me of that Drake song where he's like, I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy. It's like, I don't know. It's just so funny, man. Hey, if you got enemies, right? It means you're doing something right.
Means you're doing something right.
I can't think of a bottom of the barrel team that has all these haters and they're on 0-16 every year. You know what I mean? So I'll take it.
Steve-O says media wants Greasy and sideline Steve Gump. Why? Sideline Steve, I can understand because I think the defense regressed this year. So if Steve Wilkes moved on, I would be fine with that. Because the other two guys that were here before, that defense excelled and adjusted quickly, and down the stretch they were always really strong. This defense, since the Philadelphia game, has really plummeted, and they really haven't found their footing. And that to me is, I know a lot of it's on the players, but that's your job to coach them up and make them better and put them in better positions to win. And I haven't seen it since the Philadelphia game. So Greasy, I really like. Now also Brock's really good too. Maybe not great like some people want him to be, but I think Greasy and him have a really good connection. Same thing with Clint Kubiak. But who knows? I mean, Steve Wilkes hasn't been offered any head coaching jobs, so he might be here another year. We talked about this. This is kind of going off topic, but the wide nine. I've seen you talking about it with Raj or Ted or both, or I saw it on another stream. I forget. I'm not a big fan of it anymore. I've kind of seen enough of it. I feel like the Niners, tried it. It worked good for a while. It worked good in 2019, but I don't know. I'm ready to move on with a defensive scheme that's a little bit more multiple in its looks and confusing, and that people really have to game plan for, than being a team that rushes for and drops a bunch in coverage and hopes their D line gets there. That's like that's their game plan every week. What do you think?
Yeah, the most annoying thing about the wide nine is when I notice they're running it off of like first and second downs, and then teams are just running us up the gut. Like all that does is just widen the splits of the D linemen and widens the lanes, and I hate that. It just kills me. But against the pass rush, it's supposed to be better. It's supposed to create more lanes for the pass rushers and all that. And we run stunts, and hopefully we run a bit more stunts so our guys don't get chipped. I saw Bosa get chipped once last week, and I believe I saw Chase Young get chipped as well. And I hate it when that happens. It pisses me off. I just hope the pass rush is more relevant this week, tomorrow, that is. And we'll see how it goes, man. And I was thinking about Steve Wilkes really quick about getting interviews. I hate to say this, but I almost feel like, who knows, maybe he might stay, but sometimes people just interview him for the sake of doing the Rooney rule, satisfying the Rooney rule.
Which is ridiculous.
And I know. It's just, I don't know. That's a whole other topic, but who knows, man.
That's like when
I just don't want our guys to be distracted. That's all.
No, I know they should make a rule where your phones stay off until. But you have to remember, bro, they want a coach in because they're preparing for free agency in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got to hit the ground rolling here. Like, you either keep up or you get left behind.
And for those assistant coaches, a lot of them are looking for their big payday. I mean, we could say as 49er fans, no, I don't want that guy to leave. But those guys are saying, hey, this is like, this is like me hitting the lottery, basically. And those are my dreams and aspirations right here that we're talking about. So I can totally see it both ways, So it is what it is. I try not to think about it too much. I just want my team to ball out. It's going to ball out. What up, Raphael?
Thank you, Raphael 562, always in the chat all the time. We got Red Jet in here.
Red Jet,
allegedly Steve-O. We got David McNiner. We got Brian Call. We have everybody in here. Appreciate you all coming through. I'm talking Southern right now. Appreciate y'all coming through.
Y'all come back down here. You see,
I'm gonna go fry my chicken in some oil later. Anyways, that was really bad. Let's talk about the Niners defensive line. They were non-existent in the last game, run defense and pass rush. I was very, very, very unhappy in that game. The amount of money that's invested into like 3 players on that line is just what did we did? I forgot who I was talking to. I was like, how many millions between Hargrave, Bosa, and Armstead is invested into those 3 players? And everyone's like, well, the PFF numbers say something. I'm like, yeah, but my eyes said something different. That performance, if they come out against the Lions like that with Gibbs as their running backs and the way Goff's been playing, people are like, oh, we play Goff well. Yeah, when we get in his face, but he's pretty damn good when he has time to throw. And you got that one receiver, that Saint Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a beast, dude.
He's a beast. You got to get pressure. And I like when people say, well, it was a good learning experience for us. I'm like, really?
What?
In almost February?
Losing's a good we're learning experience. Oh, about the last game.
I've never understood that mindset and thinking where something bad happened is a learning experience, but they still don't get any better from it. So
assuming you have a chance to live another day and you have a chance to, you're still alive, it could be possibly be a learning experience. It's not guaranteed, but we shall see.
Ted put up 71 mil. Is that? But I would assume that's between the three guys. It's a lot of dead money that's just sitting there not producing. That's insane. I know Bosa.
Oh, the pass rush. Oh yeah.
I know Bosa gets chipped and this, that, and the other, but a lot of guys get chipped and they are able to get to the quarterback. Just take for instance the Browns. What's his name?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett gets chipped and all that other stuff too, and yet he's getting to the quarterback and making plays. I think what it is too with the Niners is they're basic. They basically run 4 down and cover all the time with very little window dressing or disguises or any of that kind of stuff. You watch a Niners game, how often do you see blitzing from anywhere? Not real often.
That pass game, I barely saw any blitzing. Very few, very little.
49ers throwback says Javon Hargrave is overrated. I agree. I think the Niners got sold, and I got sold because it's my opinion that matters. No, I'm just kidding. I thought he was really, really good, and it looks like the Eagles did what the Chiefs did to us. They got rid of some baggage when they realized that the Niners were desperate enough to go sign it, and they went and grabbed him, just like we did with D Ford. They're like, "Oh, you wanted to pay what and trade what for D Ford, even though we know his back is done." And he'll never be able to do anything other than like a couple games each year. Sure, we'll sign that up. We'll sign up for that trade. I feel like the Niners did the same thing with him, and that's sad. They're so desperate for stuff sometimes that they, like for instance, all the medicals were out there for D Ford, yet nobody did anything. You would have thought they would have done their due diligence, but
I was talking about hitting the lottery. Nobody hit the lottery more so than D Ford did, man. That guy's contract, which is paying him and paying him and paying him.
Dude's made of glass, and he's getting paid.
But he was down. What sucked was he was so good when we first had him before he got hurt. Like that speed off the edge was really, really nice, man.
It was really nice.
It was just like a teaser, like, damn, we can't have this anymore.
I was watching the Super Bowl. They showed the promo, the intro, when The Rock was introducing us, and it was like Bosa, D Ford, Armstead, and DeForest Buckner, and I was just like, "Ooh, that was nice looking." I missed that.
We supposedly should be just as good as that D line from back then, man. We just need to do it on the field, man. I don't know what's wrong with us.
Ted says that D Ford is finally off the payroll next year. That's good.
Next year, wow. I thought it was. Oh my god.
Next season. So I assume this coming season.
Damn.
That man he's got that Bobby Bonilla deal where like he hasn't played in like 20 years and he's still getting paid.
That's crazy.
Have you ever
I was looking up. You were talking about Trent Williams retiring, and I was looking up his contract, and there would be so much dead money if he were to retire early, and he's making hella money next year, and his contract's all the way up to 2027, bro. So I don't know how in the hell they'd work that out if he were to retire early, but he said he's going to go at it at least up until 2025, I believe. The 2025 season will be his last season, I believe.
So they're gonna have 2 dead years where they're paying him.
Yeah, look up his contract whenever you're bored, dude. You'll see how outrageous it is.
I want to talk about so the game plan. You would assume, at least everybody assumes, says that we run the ball to set up the pass. So I'm listening to KNBR today from this morning. And a lot of what they were talking about was, okay, so the Lions have a really good run defense, right? And I know a lot of people don't agree with this because they want the Niners to run the ball to quote unquote protect Brock Purdy from himself. That's some people like to go make videos about that. But a lot of people are saying, okay, well, their run defense is really good and their pass defense is atrocious. do the Niners come out and play it backwards, where they pass the ball to set up the run early in the game, because of the numbers that they've given up, and kind of flip the script a little bit?
I mean, they might do that. We did have a few games here and there where we did try to do that, and some games where we were pretty successful at it because Purdy was just everything was clicking with Purdy and the receivers, and we had plenty of that all year. But I'm still a fan of like jamming the ball down a team's throat and just saying, "Hey, we're going to establish a run whether you guys can like it, are going to like it or not," because that way it will open up the play action. So I'm not really a huge fan of like abandoning the run right off the bat. I want a presence of the run game early on. I always feel like with this 49er run game, even if they stop us, like let's say they stop us 5 times in a row, I feel like on that 6th time that when I say stop us, get like 1 yard here, 2 yards here, 3 yards tops. I feel like on that 6th try, we can get like boom, get a 25-yard run or a 30-yard run. Like I just think that eventually, like a crack will open and then we'll just bust right through it. So we'll see. We'll see how Shanny does. I know Shanny loves to run the ball, but then again, people were complaining and pulling their hair out because he didn't run the but CMC did get 98 yards at the end of the day. We are 11-1 in every game that CMC gets 75 plus yards. So let's see how it goes down. And I hate to sound like a broken record like every other 49er fan because it's low hanging fruit, but use Elijah Mitchell from time to time. You think that, like I mentioned this with Ted, you think that when Deebo goes out, like we could slide over CMC as more of like a slot receiver type guy and bring in Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason as the running back and utilize our weapons a bit more. And we didn't go that route. So it is what it is. We'll see what we do. Who knows how we do. I just have a feeling that this team's going to put up way more points on the board because we're going to get the real Purdy this time around. Not that BS where the rain was bothering him. He had to switch gloves. He had to wipe his leg or wipe his hand on his leg in mid-throw and all that other crap and people dropping passes. And I just think it's going to be a lot more like the Purdy connection to Deebo, Ayuk, and Kittle and Jennings that we've seen all year. And it's going to be God willing, it's going to be a full game of Jennings, Deebo, Ayuk, and Kittle all back all at once. It's been a while since Jennings was gone for a while, so he played last week, but then Deebo was out of the lineup as soon as he came in. So we'll see.
To me, it really comes down to you play this NFC Championship game, and you play with nothing left in the tank. I don't want to, should we not expose and show everything because we want to go into the Super Bowl with it? No. You play this game like it's your last, because it very well may be. Donald Johnson says, Ted, for some reason, Kyle does the opposite of what he's supposed to do. And Ted said, where is he? He says what a lot of us think. He says he gets cute. Me and my brother talk about that because Mike McDaniel is his protege, right? He coaches in Miami, and a lot of times my brother, when he gets frustrated, he watches games where it's like you'll see a drive running really good, right? And then they run a play out of nowhere that is a complete drive killer. It's a lateral play, like it's not going forward. Some cute little running back flip or a player who's going to throw it or something and ends up throwing it out of bounds, or he takes a sack, or the guy fumbles and has to fall on it, instead of just running a normal play that gets a lot of yards. And I think that's one of the biggest things about Kyle that gets to me sometimes is you're watching a drive happen and you're like, oh man, we are killing these guys, right? Running the ball down their throats, play action. And then he does some stupid, right? And then it's the end of the drive. And I agree with the guys that like sometimes he does the opposite of what's common sense. So Niners have all the weapons ready to go, guys. There's really no excuses for the Niners in this game. They have to put up or shut up. This is getting on. We're approaching Philadelphia Eagles territory in the early 2000s, where they lost multiple NFC Championship games. So,
oh please no, Andy Reid. He had that run where he lost all those times.
And he was considered a choke artist and all that stuff. Until Kyle wins a Super Bowl, he's going to be a choke artist. It's always going to follow him. And it's fair because he hasn't won, and he has one of the biggest Super Bowl collapses. Although I blame that more on the head coach than I do on the offensive coordinator. Like, you're the head coach of the team, you can veto stuff. So when I hear about that Eagles thing, that like he didn't play defense, he didn't coach the defense. So you can go a billion different ways with that.
McNabb wasn't necessarily the best come playoff time either. When it came down to it.
What's your opinion on going into this game with Ambry Thomas after the last game? Are you
I'm
have a
not
little
worried
bit
about. I'm
after?
not worried
Are
about
you?
Ambry.
You're not worried?
Mm-mm. He's been good for the majority of the season. I saw plenty of people who shitted on Deebo. Diamador Lenore last year, and I kept telling him stick with it. Watch, he's going to be good. And now people are finally on the Diamador Lenore train, and I see a bit of it. Ambry Thomas in the same way, you know. So I think Ambry was fine the majority of the season. I mean, it looked stupid when he slipped and fell or whatever, and got caught with those pass interference things and all that other dumb stuff.
We did have up a lot of yards.
I don't think he got burnt.
Slipping and falling.
I don't think he got burnt though. He was just timing things wrong. You know what I mean? He just needs to learn how to time things better. Sometimes some quarterbacks are good at hanging the ball up in the air a bit, where it's annoying, and then you think like, okay, cool, he's there, he's going to make a play on the ball where it's not going to be a catch, and then next thing you know, he freaking stumbles a little early and makes contact like right before the ball gets there. It's really annoying, but I'm not worried about Ambry. I'm really not, dude.
I wonder if anybody could go back and look at the drives that he committed penalties on, if they even scored the Packers. Because in a sense, he might have saved a touchdown, gets a penalty, but then they give up a field goal. I haven't had a chance to look at that.
All those slips and falls, by the way, last week accounted to like 75 yards of passing. Yep. So,
yeah. Don't have this down as a topic, but we might as well talk about it. Thank you, 49er Media. He says, please do not start Logan Ryan.
Yeah. Well, Jair Brown put out that tweet yesterday.
Captain Obvious.
Did you guys see the tweet that Jair Brown, not the tweet, the Instagram post that Jair Brown put out yesterday? Or I think it was his IG story. And he was basically like, oh, thank God, I'm thankful. And he said, like, it feels good to be back in the starting lineup again. I can't remember the exact words he said, but I'm paraphrasing what he said. But he sounded really, really excited, and sounds like he's going to pretty much play and get his starting job back. Supposedly he was in the doghouse. There was some article floating around about that. I didn't take the time to read it, but I don't know what happened with him exactly. But
Kyle placing people in the doghouse in freaking
December, January. Doghouse dumb shit, dude. So, and I'm one to defend Kyle, but yeah, I just like, come on, dude. Please don't do that. Don't do that when it's fucking playoff time.
Ted says he asked for Feliciano last week, and we both talked. I think we did talk about that.
They still threw in Burford at the end, though. It's the points in times of the game.
And he asked for Tig this week. I mean, he's going to be one of the safeties. He's going to be one of the safeties of the future. I mean, him and
yeah, him and
Hufanga. So I mean, why not put him in when the temperature is the hottest?
Yeah, I like Gibson a lot too. It's like to see him go, but eventually, he's getting older. He's not going to be around forever.
I see some people talking about Isaiah Oliver coming into this game.
You know what? At least he can tackle, though. I wouldn't mind him in there on first downs from time to time if they ran some certain packages that they got him close to the line of scrimmage or whatever. But whatever, we'll see.
I mean, he maybe have him covering a tight end. I don't know. It looks like Zach Ertz is not going to be active in this game.
Yeah, I was never worried about Ertz to begin with, anyways. Yeah.
Donald Johnson, you read my mind. He says Bryant being a nice guy is cool and all. And I want people on the field give us the best chance. Yeah,
hey, but you know what they say about nice guys, right?
They finished last. No, I'm cool with players being approachable and nice and coachable, but at the end of the day, dude, you either can play or you can't. Like, all that other BS doesn't matter to me. I'm just a fan. You could be nice all you want. I'm never going to meet you. Can you play professional football at its highest level? If you can't, I know that sounds kind of like really scuzzy of me, but like most fans who are super invested into a team don't care too much about a guy's personal, it's Kenny Ball. So Oliver, hey, if he can come in and make plays, then it's better for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Ted.
Ted says Ertz had under 200 yards and just 1 TD in the last 7 games.
He's just a name.
Yeah, I could understand. Remember, all of us, including myself, were like, should we go after him?
I mean, I thought maybe if he still had some gas left in the tank as a guy who can help out Kittle, but it doesn't even sound like he has much left in the tank anyway, so who cares?
He's just going to jump on for a Super Bowl ride. Tommy Huxley says Gibson is gone for the season. Yeah, it looks like it.
Looks like it.
Here's one of those guys that I would love to get a championship for. A veteran player. I think he won one though somewhere else. I'm not sure.
And we were so lucky to get him because when we got him, it was towards the it was last year.
Yeah, it was like right before the season.
It was like towards the end of the preseason. We just got him out of nowhere. Nobody made a big deal about it, and they inserted him into the starting lineup. And like the guy barely ever got beat. He's been excellent, man.
Oh, we got our guy Ryan in here from Nose Border Sports. He says,
Ryan,
that like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, please like and share the stream. I appreciate it. We got 31 people watching with 20 likes. Come on, let's get that likes up. It gets my channel to at least show up on the same page as all the other guys, all the big guys who we don't stand a chance when they're streaming. So at least if I'm seen, maybe someone will click on me for 2 minutes, How much longer can you go, Bash?
I don't know. Not too much.
Okay.
Why, you got another topic in mind?
Yeah.
Want to shout out one of the guys who's been writing with Purdy longer than any 49er fan that I can recall in the chat, and that's 187. So name Purdy. So there you go.
Purdy, can't you see? Sometimes your beautiful throws just hypnotize me. I had to.
I did a rap earlier and nobody cared, man. I was like, okay, whatever.
We got the two game captains for this game is the none other than, greatest quarterback in my eyes ever, Joe Montana, and the greatest running back. The greatest running back that's ever played, and Barry Sanders. They will be both team captains for the game on Sunday. Any thoughts, Bash? You know me, I'm a Montana player fan. I'm not necessarily I told somebody on Twitter, I said, I wonder how much they paid Montana for his appearance, and somebody freaking ripped me. They're like, he's a good guy. He loves the team. He's a jerk.
A good boy. Like, he drinks his milk with his cookies.
Yeah. Like, I got. God forbid you give an opinion on Twitter. Jeez.
That was funny. Well, that was on Twitter when that happened.
Yeah, you know me. I
missed this. I know you're some troll. I'm surprised you're not Ted Talks Ball 2.0 on Twitter yet, because the stuff you say is outrageous, and it's almost like people are scared to say something to you when you put that stuff out there. Well, yeah, as follow 49ers first takes on Twitter.
I think that's mostly because Ted will go. My guy Ted, he ain't afraid to go at it. I don't know. They just don't know me as much because I don't have a gazillion people following me. No, all I said was, and I said it sarcastically, is, how much do they have to pay him to show up? Because if you see Joe Montana nowadays, anytime you see him, there's an ad on Facebook and he's playing like checkers or chess. It looks like he's at a senior home or something for old folks, some insurance or something. And then there's another ad of him, and it's, the Gold Bar whiskey, all that stuff. Everybody, props to Gold Bar whiskey for people that, are sponsored by it. My guy, Raj.
Sipping Gold Bar whiskey on the rocks.
Yeah. And then, but then there's him as the player. I mean, I always thought he was the best. Mainly because he played in an era where quarterbacks could get hit and quarterbacks could get hurt and abused. Donald Johnson says, I love Montana, but agree he's not a Niner guy. But yeah, 100%. 100%. Joe doesn't care. He's about making cash money, man. He's an old man now. I think a lot of Niner fans have a hard time letting go of the fact that he's not obsessed with being a 49er player anymore. Like, he did his job. He won 4 chips, 3 MVPs.
I want to share something about Joe Montana. It's a fun fact.
Go ahead.
Quick. I'm going to share the picture for context.
All right.
Just a second. Hang on just a second. Clicking around here. It's something I just found out the other day. I knew about the company. I knew about it existing. But hang on. Is this it? No, hang on. I'm on the wrong one. Sorry about that. I'll do it again. Yeah, because it's in relation to what we're talking about. Here we go. Okay, so I don't know if for those who live in the Bay Area, you might remember this, the Power Burst Drink Company. So the Power Burst Drink Company was owned by Eddie DeBartolo, and it was a way to this is so funny. I didn't even know that they laundered money this way to do this, but it was a way to pay Joe Montana more money on the side, basically. Oh, you can't really see the picture all that well. Hang on, here. There you go. You kind of split screen, but it was a power. If you look up Power Burst Drink Company on on Google or whatever. It was like Gatorade. Basically, it was a Gatorade knockoff. Roger Craig and Joe Montana were in the ads, and it was owned by Eddie DeBartolo. And it was basically another way for them to launder money to those two guys and pay them extra money on the side, basically. So
Bryant, so there's a difference between the big content creators. You have to stay faithful to who you are. Oh, dude, I'm authentic. I'm as real as it gets. That's why a lot of people don't like me. You have a big following, man, and you're making money off this deal. You have to be a little bit boring and PG. You can't go out there and just drop hints and names and stuff. So I don't have that to deal with, so I can kind of be myself.
Interesting fact there, Ted. I didn't know about that.
I did not know either.
Brent Jones a house though. I mean, he made an okay amount of money.
How about the last stream I had? Was it with Raj or was it with Ted? That freaking John Taylor used to sell cars in the off season.
I remember that. Yeah, they said that in the Super Bowl when he made the catch against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the announcer said it right away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep in mind though, that season Taylor was barely even used. He cracked his way into the starting lineup.
Mike Wilson was used more than him.
Yeah, he eventually cracked his way into the starting lineup towards the end, but he was more going to that season. He was supposed to be just a kick returner and special teams guy, and then in the years prior, he was just barely even heard of. You know what I mean? But he found his way to break through eventually. So he was awesome, man. His run after the catch ability was really, really nice, and he was a great guy alongside Jerry Rice, and just helped pave the way for what the Niners tried to replicate. Now we got two guys, Ayuk and Deebo, that do the run after the catch stuff very well. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that season they won. He had 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he started 3 games in the regular season. The year before, he only had 151 yards. So,
yeah. I did not know that. And now you know. Let's see what else we got here real quick. Really, it just comes down to, I guess, score predictions. Then we're gonna go out how we think the game's going to go. So I will let you go first, since you are the co-host. You're not my guest. You're my co-host.
Yep, there you go. So it's 34-17 Niners, and I'm gonna throw this out there. I have Deebo Samuel scoring the first touchdown, and let's see. Yeah, so Deebo's gonna score the first touchdown. I don't know what else you have in terms of predictions and touchdowns or big plays, but if you want to throw those out there, feel free to.
MR Fresh Sports thank you for coming through, by the way. I've never seen you because you're a Lions fan. That would make sense.
Do you live in Detroit, or are you just a out of state Lions fan?
He says I'm a Lions fan, but I really like Joe Montana back in the good old days. Hell yeah.
I have a lot of relatives that live in the state of Michigan, not necessarily in downtown Detroit, what they call it Metro Detroit. I'm talking about areas like West Bloomfield, Troy, Michigan, Rochester, and well, a lot of them were kind of disconnected with the team because they weren't doing so well. But
you got a Rochester over there too.
There's a Rochester in Michigan too. Yeah, it's a nice area. I've been out there.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yeah, one of my cousins wanted to call me and talk about it. My other cousin's living out there. He's a Seahawks fan, but one of my other cousins was a diehard fan at one point, and I don't know about now because he's just really busy with his. He's got twins and a son, and I don't know if he's able to even watch the games or if he still does, but maybe he does. But shout out to them. They're a diehard fan base. I mean. We're there in our way, so I'm not gonna feel bad that we.
Randy says he was a Steve Bono fan. Huh.
Bono was good, man.
I love Steve Bono.
Yeah, standard pocket quarterback, pretty good arm, and he had. Remember when he played on the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had that long ass touchdown run because somebody bit his fake. It was like a Colin Kaepernick read option, basically. It was like he did the fake handoff, and nobody was on the outside. It was just like this gaping hole on the outside, and he ran for like 80 yards or 70 yards. I don't know if you remember that.
Who's that?
Steve Bono, when he was starting quarterback on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
Let me see.
He went all the way on the right side.
Yeah.
Tommy Huxley says I'm the pirate from the Dodgeball movie. I know exactly who you're talking about. He was also in that.
It was a 76-yard bootleg run. There you go.
Niners 2000. Go Niners from Kingwood, Texas.
There you go.
Hell
Big
yeah,
Niners
man.
Base in Texas.
Props to you for being in cowboy country and friggin' being a Niners fan. That's what's up. No, not you too, Bono. Steve Bono.
A lot of Niner fans in Texas, man. That one guy I had on my channel, Steve. I'm not sure. I think I told you about it. One of my friends. He's been on my channel before, and he's twice at least, and he's a big Niner fan over in Texas. Well, actually, he's originally from Southern California, but they have a pretty strong fan base out there, regardless.
I'm from Rochester, New York. I'm an hour and 20 minutes away from Buffalo to see the Bills play. And people ask me all the time, how the hell are you a 49ers fan? I just am. Trust me, if I could come to the West Coast and hang out with Bash and Ted and everybody else, and we could go get like pizza and stuff and just talk Niners, that would be awesome. Someday.
We got to do it.
My score prediction for the game, the other day was kind of high scoring, and I'm gonna go 49ers 37, Lions 25.
Okay. There you go. And we got Bebop, or
Bebop
Mariah calls him Bebop-aroni. Says Bash Man. What's up,
Bebop-aroni. Live Insurance says that Goff is going to throw 3 pick sixes. That would be awesome.
I don't think he's going to be that bad.
Gerback still going to be starting. He reminded me of one of my uncles. He was like really tall and like odd looking.
It just tripped me out how the Chiefs kept going after our quarterbacks whenever they were done being Niners. You know, it's like, okay,
you want to come to our team? We run the same offense.
Montana
with less.
Now we got Bono. Now we got Gerbach.
Yeah, that was strange. And then Alex Smith.
And then they fucking beat us in the Super Bowl with Mahomes.
Of course. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to let Bash go do his stuff. And I'll see you Monday on the Niners Coast to Coast stream.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got going on, Bash, for the following week?
There's a good chance I'll be doing a post-game show tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be in good spirits. Hopefully we will come out in the winning end. And if we are down, I did it before. When we lost that NFC Championship game, I went live when we lost that Rams, that dreadful game, and it was tough, but I pulled it through. And hey, if worst comes to worst, I'll try my best to come on as soon as the game's over. So I'll try to do a post-game show. If I do post-game shows that are right after the game, usually I wait about 30 minutes to an hour to go live. So we'll see. Yep.
I could pop on tomorrow just for like 20 minutes on my channel, or I could jump on with you. I don't know. It depends. I get a little burned out.
You want to jump on? If I'm on, you're more than welcome to jump on with me. Yeah. But usually make it like where I have 2 or 3 other people with me too. Where it's like 3 people or 4 people tops.
Please. We got Jim Everett the Great here talking about we're the VHS champions.
Wait, what's the timestamp about, Ted?
That video from those people talking silliness. As far as Rams fan being in here and talking about the night, listen, bro, let me just say this. People talk about the Niners as one of the most beloved franchises in the history of the sport. They don't really talk about the Rams like that. So the fact that they're still talking about us and we haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years says a lot about the organization.
Okay.
Anyways, we're out of here.
All righty. Go Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Let's beat Detroit. Let's go to the Super Bowl.
Let's go get it. See you, everyone.
Let's go.